Okay, here we are. Happy New Year's Eve for some of us and Happy New Year's Day for some of us. We decided we're just going to do Happy New Year's month that probably started 2 weeks ago, and now we'll go for another 2 weeks. So we'll just make it a whole month because we can, because that's how time is. So it's not just always set in place. There's been some really beautiful things that have kind of like, of course, we went through Christmas, and Christmas has a certain energy with it, and everybody gets more aloha. You see more aloha happening, and people greeting each other and looking each other in the eye and all of that stuff. And then we go into the new year, and then it's like, oh, it's more of a celebration time, but there's still that loving connection. So this is a magical time of year where people feel really, where the connection with each other and ourselves is accelerated. And, just kind of like, oh, you only have one item, you're in line at the grocery store and you have a whole cart of stuff, and somebody's, gonna like, oh, you kind of came to the line at the same time, and you're like, no, go ahead. For some reason, during Christmas or New Year's, we're like, no. We're more apt to like, go ahead, get in line in front of me. You only have 2 things in your hand and I have 40. So, but maybe like back in June, you were like, oh no, I've been waiting in this line. No, wild horses could not drag me from the spot where I am. You have 2 items, get behind me. But somehow like at Christmas and New Year's, everybody kind of like softens up and kind of goes more into that aloha spirit. I love it. I love this time of year. Hopefully we can, instead of like New Year's month, we could do New Year's year. We could do that for a year, an entire year, every day, 365, no matter what. Anyway, let's start with the Mahalo Nui. And let's put that in place and call in Nakupuna and mahalo them for being with us and protecting us and loving us and blessing us, and just bring them in and ground it in to this class that we're going to have today. Okay, Makaukau. Ai. Keiki au ke ia o hola okoa. Mahalo nui. Mahalo nui no la ke ia piha po mai kai me ke aloha. Mahalo nui. Mahalo nui no la ke ia piha po mai kai me ke aloha. Keiki au ke ia. Keiki au ke ia no ho'okoa, hele mai ana no makali'i. Keiki au ke ia. Keiki au ke ia no ho'okoa, hele mai ana no makali'i. Aloha huakahi. Aloha huakahi no hoku wa'a ko mai kai I nā kupuna. Aloha huakahi. Aloha huakahi no hoku wa'a ko mai kai I nā kupuna. Haina ia mai. Haina ia mai. Ana kapuana, keiki au ke ia o ho'okoa. Haina ho. Haina ia mai, ana kapuana. Aloha po mai kai I nā kupuna. He Hiki a ke ia o horo okoa. Aloha po mai kai. I nā kupuna. Whoo, I tell you what, I start drifting off by about aloha huakahi, like the ancestors are like, come with us. Look, we're over here. And I'm like, and I start drifting off and I'm like, wait a minute. Somebody has to do the kahea. Somebody has to call it out and then, and be in place to do the rest of the oli. But I'm like, okay, I'm coming. Yeah, I see. Oh, then and I'm like, oh, where were we? Are we the keiki? How many times did I do keiki? I don't know. Sometimes I do it like 3 or 4 times because I'm like, I kind of get lost. By aloha huakahi, I'm like, Kumu used to be like this. She used to, and I'd be here and I'm like, I'd kind of like grab her and ground her and I'm like, remember, we're doing the oli, where are you? And she's like, whoa. She would be gone off with the ancestors. And good thing I was there to hold the oli, because we might not have gotten through it within a short period of time. We might have had to redo it. But anyway, I find myself doing that. I float away by aloha huakahi, the loving journey, loved and blessed by the ancestors on my loving journey. Well, I start journeying off, and so I have to always come back and you'll see me smile. You'll see me give the little smirk. Now, as a hula dancer, as a kahiko dancer, if you make a mistake, the trick is you never let them know. Never let them know. Don't even, don't go, sorry. You don't give it away that you made a mistake, because they don't know. They don't know you made a mistake. But me, I can't help it. I smirk. I give a little like smile, like, oops. Yeah, I kind of went off track a little bit. I kind of like give it away a little bit. But it happens, and I love it, because that's a really juicy place to be, is when you're being called by Nakupuna to come hang out with us. It's a beautiful thing. So anyway, I have to keep myself kupa don't go lakia. You got to remember where you are. Remember where you are. So it's so much fun when I can get through that and like get it done without too much of a, and I've stayed on track a little bit. So anyway, we would call that my kumu, any kind of little something, like even if you paint a picture and there's a little mistake or something, she would always call that the ha'a. That's the humbleness. So when we would do, like if we played a song and she played the wrong chord or something, and we'd look at each other and I'd smile and she'd smile at me. and we knew, and we were like looking at each other and we knew that was the ha'a. That was the humbleness. And, honestly, you can't have a masterpiece without a little bit of humbleness. Any master, Van Gogh or I don't know, whoever the master painters are, but there was always one little thing in their picture that wasn't perfect. And because of that ha'a, because of that humbleness, that one little thing, it wasn't a masterpiece until you had that one, and a lot of artists go in and they try and fix it, and they try and fix it, and they can't fix it, then they throw the painting out. They're like, no, it's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfect. Well, then it's not a masterpiece, man. There's always a little teeny, what some would judge as a mistake or something that's not perfect, but that's the ha'a. That's the humbleness. So that's why I smirk at myself, when I'm doing the oli and I kind of like drift off and I forget and I kind of like, oh, okay, back on track, and I kind of smirk at myself because I remember the humbleness. That's the ha. I just went into the ha of this Oli, and it's perfect just as it is. It doesn't change it. It doesn't diminish it. It doesn't. It's part of the perfection. It's part of the ikaponome. So anyway, woo, we are in a new year. We're in a new year. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Like today feels like it did yesterday, like outside, it was raining like this yesterday. I stood out in the rain. I went and got 2 new front tires for my car because one of them went flat. And so I had to stand over at Lex Brody's, and it was pouring rain. And so today it's pouring rain. It's like it looks exactly like it did yesterday. But all of a sudden yesterday was, Thursday, and today is New Year's Eve. And I'm like, and what makes it different? And now and tomorrow's going to be New Year's Day. And I'm like, how is that going to make anything different? Other than for us, we like to have moments that kind of shift us from one maybe course of consciousness to another. And New Year's is a really beautiful time. I mean, there's New Year's resolutions. People are kind of like more open to the aloha spirit. Like I said, they're more loving and more giving and more receiving. And, this time of year, we kind of go a little introspective. We go inward. Let me make sure. Yeah, we go introspective. And we go and we kind of like, we look a little bit forward too, but it's kind of a time about coming into the now, and I think that's what's most important. I think that's what Anake was talking to me about, because I was like, I don't know what we're talking about today in class, but now I'm getting it. Okay, so boy, you just wait till I'm right in the seat, don't you? Okay. So anyway, like the message for today is about being in the now. So being in this now moment, and just kind of like, instead of, kind of like going to the past or going to the, like, what are we doing in the future, blah, 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 or, going in the past and, shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or reflecting on different things. Today is more of like, where am I? What's going on? Let's be in the now. And to me, Anake was inviting me today to be more in the now. It's like, it's very important that we choose to be more in the nowness rather than, always kind of like being in different places. How can I better myself? Maybe, how can I, bring in an exercise program to lose weight, or, all those things that we do at the beginning of the year, self-improvement. So then we kind of move out of the now to, kind of make a schedule of what we're going to do forward from here to take us to a more desired experience. And she's just kind of like, let's just be in the now. Let's just be in the right now. And let's just kind of look at things from a very loving perspective. Because realistically, we've all been through a lot. The last 2 years, man, right? And we're on different parts of the globe. Everybody's having different experiences. We've been through a lot. And so Yes, absolutely. Kind of being in the now moment. What are the lessons and blessings of that? What are the lessons and the blessings of that? What is the ikaponomea? What is the perfection? What is the pono perspective of that? And and in this moment, not in the future, not in the past, but in this moment, how does that energize me in my greatness and in my, even in my ha, that's going to take me in my breath, even before I speak words, in my breath, that's going to take me into the next moment, going to take me into the next moment, which is, my desired experience. So it's kind of like in this time is mastering being in the moment, really being with ourselves, who we are, what we are, where we are, just right now. Oh, I should have done that, or oh man, I forgot to do that yesterday, or I got like 7 things to do, and tomorrow is going to be a really busy day. No, 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 no. Stay in the now, just really in this moment, just be in the nowness. And yeah, she was really kind of like leaning heavy into that message. And I'm sure a lot of you folks can relate to that. Because anxiety comes in, the pu'uwai gets a little, and the mana'o, like, woo, when we go into the future or we go into the past. I mean, it's just, and the now is, the gut center is like going, can we all, we were just in alignment. How did we get out of alignment when we just don't go to yesterday, last week, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Don't do that. Stay in the moment. And really, Kumu was always about, and it was kind of funny because, I'm really strict with myself, and I don't know if you folks are too, but, I would kind of go, if like maybe I went into a past or something, and I was a past moment, and I wasn't really pleased with something I did, I would kind of do the self beat ups. I'd do the, smack myself, you should have thought something different, or you should have done something different, And so, the more I was with Kumu, she never did that for me. And I don't remember her ever kind of like looping around with that either for herself. So if she did, she never showed it. She was a very good master, but it was lakea. I would go out in the garden and I would like, why did I do that? What was I thinking? That was so wrong. I should have done it different. Da 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 da. And then Nakapuna would come in. The ancestors would come in and they're like, hui, lakea. We do not have time for you to do the self beat ups. Okay. So my self beat up, I could get a good week of beating myself up going. I had a good time of just beating me. Oh, let me find a hammer. Oh, let me find a big piece of wood. Let me get the pono paddle and smack myself with that for a while. Oh, I could get it going on. But after a while, it kind of like got shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay, now you have, okay, you only beat your, instead of a week, it was, a couple of days, then it was like a day, and then it was an hour. And then I only had like a few moments, like a couple of seconds, I'm like, oh man, I can't believe that out. Nope. Okay, we don't have time for that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So there was no time for self beat ups because it was time to just be in the moment. Wow. Look at the pono, look at the ikaponomea. You just gained so much evolvement through the involvement of that experience. And now you are exponentially flying forward from there. And look at the lessons and the blessings of that. Otherwise, that experience was for nothing. And it's okay, because we'll loop you back again. We'll bring you right back again. Maybe a little bit differently. It might look a little different, but it's the same thing. We'll bring you back. No worries. That's how things work. So, you kind of want to get it. You kind of want to just get it in that moment. And Annika would always invite me, get it in this moment. This is the gift. This is the makana. This is the gift of this moment. And of this experience, this involvement and this evolvement. And then we can move forward. Then you can move forward. And that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. So yeah, it's kind of like the message of today for her this morning was stay in the moment. And to really enjoy the energies of the new year, this time of year where people are really showing extra aloha. And then, and for us to continue to, as we acknowledge, as we see it around us, it's more prevalent now, just because it's more kind of like in your face, but it's always there. It's always there. And if we just look for it, if we just look for the aloha, it's everywhere around us. And sometimes we forget to look for it, So we're not necessarily energizing those aloha moments, but they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And even if you just see the slightest moment of aloha from someone, let's say in like May, and you're like, wow, it's May. It's not even New Year's Day. It's not even Christmas. I see the aloha, and you just see it, you acknowledge it. Then all of a sudden in the next, 10, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, you're probably going to see it again, and maybe 2 or 3 times, because now you're in the vibrational match of seeing the aloha. You're seeing people do really beautiful aloha things. And maybe it's a little kid, maybe it's a little child just kind of looking up at you and smiling. Could be a simple moment just like that, as such a beautiful aloha. Or, somebody, oh, this lady dropped her, grabbed the stuff and she dropped her receipt, and somebody reaches down and hands it to her. Well, here you go, ma'am, here's your receipt. Just a little gesture of aloha. You'll start seeing it around you everywhere. And then all of a sudden your whole day, and you're like going, I didn't know there was so much aloha. Because, sometimes we're looking for those big firework moments like Nina's having right now. In Boston, they're doing the fireworks. But, we're always looking for those big, huge aloha moments. No, they're just like little teeny sometimes, but little teeny ones all day long. And pretty soon, by the end of the day, you're so uplifted by the amount of aloha you've been able to witness in just one little day. And then stretch that out. Do it for the next day, stretch it out. Stay in the moment of the alohas and just keep going with it. And that's what Kumu would say was stretch, you go into a moment that is very desired, and then stretch it out, spandex it, stretch it out. And then all of a sudden you come to the edge of that, and then go into the next moments of aloha, and then stretch that out. And you do this, you have this joyful experience, this aloha experience, moment to moment. Mana ve'ike e mana ve'ike, moment to moment. So yeah, that's kind of a big thing too. And she told me to reach into the Pono cards and just pull something and just kind of like touch on it today. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to shuffle, shuffling. Oh, that's the one. Okay, that's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. This is a good one. Now this is a good one. This is a good one. It's Mahalo Pau. Mahalo Pau. Thank you. Done. Okay. So this is good for the moment that we're in, because sometimes this year has been a loop of things that have been over and over, and the rhetoric and all the stuff and happening. Well, now we've come to the moment of Mahalo Pau. Mahalo Pau. Thank you. I'm done. So talk about, where a beautiful precipice to go into the new year in our moment to moment. Mahalo Pau is the mindful commitment for ending the mindless thoughts and feelings, struggles on Pilikia, trauma and drama. Know that you are solely responsible for choosing to experience trauma and drama, Pilikia, to own it or to wallow in it forever or not. It's your responsibility. Wallow in it forever or not. Okay? Value your greatness, and you will not be in neediness as a victim for self-Pilikia. Choose Mahalo Pau. Choose it now. There you go. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's a really good one for today. True. Value your greatness. Value your greatness. Yeah, that Pilikia, that self inflicted Pilikia. But when we come to that place of Mahalo Pau, this is actually a really deep tool. And when we take it in, this is so appropriate for this time, is because, like I said, things kind of go over and over and over, and it's like a mindless, this is what she had said, this is the mindful commitment for ending the mindless thoughts and feelings of Pilikia. So instead of going over and over, kind of like with the Pono paddle, smacking yourself, over and over with the Pilikia, you just go Mahalo Pau. Mahalo Pau. I got that. I got the lessons and blessings of that involvement to evolve. Thank you. Mahalo Pau. And now I'm done. Mahalo Pau. And when you speak that, and sometimes maybe we should make that our little mantra for the day, all day long, is Mahalo Pau, Mahalo Pau, Mahalo Pau, just to kind of keep us in that, now moment. But Mahalo Pau. Mahalo, Anake. That was perfect. That was beautiful. I shuffled. Did you see me shuffle? And then that was the blind that got pulled out. That was so perfect. So anyway, yeah, I love that. I love that. That's very powerful. And I'm so grateful that we're all here in the Va'a today. I want to kind of like open it up to you folks. We've got, the Va'a is Imua. We're moving forward. We've got strong paddlers in today from all over. And so I'm gonna just go ahead and turn it over to you folks. And we can kind of like share, what you feel about the messages, and then share, what this New Year's is for you. This New Year is for you and where you are. So anyway, I'm going to start with who wants to go first? Raise your hand. Khalil, go first. Go first, girl.
Because this is perfect, this card. First of all, it's nice to see everybody. I haven't been here for a while. I've been able to be on the call. It's nice to see all the new people. So it's nice to be back. No, it's perfect, Kumu. I mean, it's like where I am right now. This 2021, as we know, those of you know me knew this was a challenging year for me. And so I've just actually been looking at and revisiting, and I've been doing a lot of inner reflection in this last week, especially about where am I with everything and where do I want to go. And I'm getting more stable as far as income coming in. So I'm going to have more choices in the future. And just realizing that there are some things that it is time to say mahalo. Who? Mahalo.
Mahalo pau.
Mahalo pau. I know pau. Why wasn't it coming to my mouth? You know, like one of the things is, just as an example, is I've been living in South Carolina. I've not been happy here. I'm landlocked. I'm missing the ocean. I'm an ocean person. And so suddenly I was just meditating and asking the Kupuna for advice the other day. And they're like, why don't you just move back to Florida? You know, people there, why don't you go down? I have a woman in Vero Beach that's telling me, why don't you come down and move? And I'm like, okay, all right. It's time to now start looking at options. What is going to make me happy? What is going to help me to be in Pono? So, yeah, it's looking to say mahalo pau to a lot of places where that old limiting belief had kept me stuck. And so it's very exciting. So this card is absolutely perfect on where I am right now in this moment in time. So, and that's why it also feels really good to be back on the call. So, because I'm excited. I'm excited for the new year and all the blessings and all the amazing things that the Kupuna and the ancestors and everybody has been bringing to me. I have so much gratitude and that I survived the fire that Kumu knows I'm talking about. I wasn't quite sure for a little while there a few months ago, but I survived the fire that I was in and much stronger for it. And so, yeah, perfect word. I'm going to be using that a lot right now of just saying, all right, thank you. And pau, time to move on. So mahalo.
Perfect. Great. Mahalo, Kaleo. Yeah, you know, yep, that was a good one. Out of that whole stack of cards, that's the one. And you know, like you pick that on another day and you're like going, what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. But today, that's exactly right. Mahalo pau. Mahalo pau, such a, you know, the Hawaiian language is such a powerful vibration. And when we speak certain things, not only is it just the vibration or, you know, the English translation of that word, but there's kauna, there's like underlying meaning and vibrational and many layers to that. So, you know, when you say that, not only are you just saying the literal word, thank you, I'm done. It's a lot of stuff. And it's a very, you know, I've experienced that with certain people in my life, you know, that I've come to a place with them. And with the greatest of aloha, I realized that we aren't a vibrational match anymore. And I have found myself, you know, come to that place where I'm like, you know, and maybe they're not, you know, I'm not benefiting from putting energy into this person or something like that, you know, and I'll just look at him, I'm like, oh, aloha, mahalo pau.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll speak it, you know, and they're like, oh, okay, well, you're welcome. I know, mahalo, thank you. You're welcome. I'm like, yes, mahalo pau. But speaking that word just kind of like cuts that, it okis the the umbilical cord to them, you know, that attachment or that, you know, energetic need to either fix them or help them or something, you know, whatever. there's different people in our lives, but I'll find myself in certain moments in certain situations when I say mahalo pau. And I say it with conviction, mahalo pau, you know, and it's the most loving words I can say to them. And it doesn't, you know, it's not like painful for them, but it just means that we're done. Thank you, done.
And you know what is so powerful about those words, Kumu? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I thought you were finished. If you're not, please excuse me. But, you know, because I've got somebody, like someone in my life right now is similar to that. I mean, what our relationship is complete as it is. Now I'm going to see where we go from here. And so I've been kind of struggling with that this week, trying to come to terms and to reason, but just to say, it's just mahalo pau. It's like, that's just so simple and it's so clear. And just to even say that for myself with her, because I care about her and, you know, I mean, but we are finished where we are in the moment. But just to hear this phrase and to say it, it's like, yeah, it's as simple as that, but we're saying it with gratitude,
Yeah.
you know? So how much more powerful can that be in its simplicity? So, yeah.
Thing, you know, and not only like with other people, but like even with ourselves, you know, or maybe like a thought pattern that we're having, or, you know, kind of like sometimes we'll find ourselves being in patterns, you know, because, you know, and we'll kind of do the same thing over and over, just in a different way. And then we can just oki that aka cord, that umbilical cord, or that thing that's tying us to that pattern. We can oki that and just mahalo pau, you know. And when we speak it in the moment, and maybe we might need to speak it a few times until we really bring it into ourselves, that we are mahalo pau. We are mahalo pau with this pattern. It doesn't serve us. It's not part of my mana iho. It's not part of my self-love, my empowerment, my self-greatness. Uhane nui, my spirit greatness, is not thriving with this pattern happening in my life. So mahalo pau. Mahalo pau. Very powerful. That's a great card. Mahalo nui Anake for helping me draw that out. Okay, let's move. Mahalo, Kaleo. Mahalo. Thank you for being here. We've missed you. We love you. Support you. Rah, rah, rah. Go to the ocean. Have your ocean yumminess. And so let's move to Alana. You knew I was going to call on you, didn't you? You could feel
yes, I was ready.
you could feel it. You could feel it.
Aloha, everyone. Yes, it's been a while for me to be on too. The holidays, and I love the mahalo pau. I think I've drawn it a couple of times this past week, but just you bringing it up and feeling the energy, it kind of like sealed in the message, like it's one thing I feel like to read the card, but one thing for you and through Kumu to like say it and like energize it. It kind of helps like bringing in to another level. But especially like getting together with family members I haven't seen in a while for the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and just different things. The mahalo pau helped, but just like you said, like kind of seeing I wasn't kind of like a pilkia, those running thoughts, and like like kind of being present to it. And the nakapunas and spirit said, just give it up, just that's it, give it to them. And I was like, oh, it's that easy, like okay, you know and that's helped. And I liked that we talked about the being present, because I felt that more during these times too. And what came through was kind of like I was kept saying, I am present, or it came to be like I am presence, and I am presence to my greatness and to my higher self in this moment. And it's like I am present in that, and I'm able to expand it from moment to moment, and how that expands, our own little universe to birth bigger things, better things, and what we really want. And I think that's what's, coming into the new year for me, is really seeing my ability to be, be in control. I can be in control in my life, in me, and stopping those patterns like mahalo poi, that's that. And really continue to move forward, paddle forward. But mahalo.
Oh, wow. Beautiful, my dear. And blessings to you over there. I so appreciate you coming in, and I know your kid, and it's like New Year's and light fireworks and this and mom, and you're like, I have to go to class. I'm going to class. I admire your dedication, and we always love it when you're here with us, and when you're not, we feel you. We feel you paddling, and we send you our love and our blessings. Thank you so much. And a beautiful, beautiful new year to you. And all of I just see really amazing things for you this year, with your talents of, the sewing and the weaving and, I don't know, Ohana family stuff coming together. I don't know, really beautiful things for you in this new year. So I'm excited for you. Anyway, whew, thank you. Boy, she just started downloading me with stuff for you. Anyway, let's mahalo and let's move on. I want to go to Natasha, our beautiful Tita paddler in Switzerland that is up at, it's probably about 2 o'clock in the morning now, or 2 something. And so she's hanging in there with us. And so I want to go and hear from you. And I also wanted to mention one thing was, I usually go back for me, I do these classes and then I go back and I rewatch it. Maybe sometimes twice, sometimes a few times. So, so that I can be in class. Because when I'm streaming in things, I don't always really lock it in. So I want to go back and revisit so that I'm in class and I take notes for myself. But Tita gave me a huge compliment last week. And, we don't really go into, Kumu and I don't go into the, to the ego or anything like that. But I didn't really acknowledge the compliment that you gave me. And I just want you to know that I heard you. And I appreciate what you said on deeper levels than you even know. So mahalo. But how are you? Happy New Year. And how are you? And what was the message for you about the message?
So yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. And I'm very glad to have Nina, Kaleo, Alana, Hone, Brigitte that I didn't see last week and see you in person. I'm repeating myself, and because you were not there last week, I've been following the recording. It's 2 o'clock in the morning for me, so probably I will attend this class and then I won't attend for a while again because it's. I'm feeling better when I sleep at night and I don't I don't stay up. But thank you for the class. It really resonates with what I've been living this week. I was, it was a very introspective week. I took for myself. In the past, I've been in a lot of pilikia, and I developed mechanism to survive the pilikias. I know I'm not so much in pilikia, but I'm still sometimes a bit left side of pono, let's say. And so it comes and goes, and I know. And so this week I was really getting out of that and taking care of myself. I was reading my notes and doing my own pono cards that I wanted to do. And I've been thinking about how pono and aloha and is is a vibration and a state of being and a feeling, you know, more than just a principle and an idea, and how to integrate that in my life, because I guess that like all of us, we have our own worlds, our own filters that we inherit from our families, from our culture, from our experiences in life. And sometimes you hear things and probably I don't receive it in the right place, like in my family or in the place I live. Self-sacrifice is a very good thing. It's a very good thing to be, you know, like, and to be a good person, it's very proper to behave like that. And so yesterday I was taking care of myself. I was very happy because it was a sunny day. It's been raining for weeks, and in Geneva, where I live, we are at the end of the lake and we are surrounded by mountains. So most of the times the clouds talk on top of Geneva, and it's super dark. And so I was, oh, super! It's sunny outside, and I'm going out. I'm going to another town to see a friend, and so I was very happy. And then I got a phone call from my mother, and my mother is sick, and I have like many people, I guess, a difficult relationship with my mother. She's loved that I self-sacrifice myself for her needs. And so she was feeling not well, and she wanted to go to the hospital. And I was like, I got super angry. I was so upset. I was, okay, so I'm doing something good for me, and just at the time I'm going to do something good for me, you know, it's exactly the time that she chose to call me and say that she's feeling so bad that I need to drive her to the hospital or something. And then I, of course, beat myself up as well. Like, what a terrible person am I to think that my mother needs to go to the hospital and I want to enjoy the sun and go see a friend. And then I guess I had that voice coming in my head because you have the choice. So choose now. You know, you have the choice. It's now. Choose now. And so I was, okay. So if I want things to be different, I probably need to make different choices. So let's choose differently. And so I waited a little bit with my mom to make sure that she was not dying. She was okay. As soon as I was with her, she was okay. And her cousin come to pick her up, and then I left, and I was okay. So I can still be angry for a moment, and then it's over. So I was angry on the train, and then it was done, and I had a very good day. So I'm the choose now. I guess for me it was like a bit the same as the Mahalo Po.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's that Pono pause. Yeah, it's like, you know, something happens and you're like, okay, Pono pause, we're pausing, you know. So you and Kumu was like taking the ha, you know, and you take that Pono pause, and just when you give a moment to kind of like shift itself, you know, in that Pono-ness, in that perfection, in that rightness, in that desiredness, things can kind of shift. Otherwise, you know, if you're in the Pilikia, that's all it is. It stays real rigid, and you will make yourself right over and over and over, you know, and you would have been right to be angry, and you would have been right because you had to take her to the hospital, and you would have been right that, you know, I didn't get my day that I wanted, and you would make yourself right if you stayed in that Pilikia. But you kind of just gave yourself that little Pono pause to kind of get a little flexible, and you know, to kind of go, you know, how it is for you. To kind of shift that Mahalo Pau, that, you know, whatever's the shift that you did, because that's what I heard with your words, was you did an energetic shift, and you just decided not to be in that, you gave yourself a moment. You gave yourself a moment of that pilikia of like, man, I had the whole day and now I got to take mom to the hospital. Oh, now I feel bad because I have to, but man, I was getting, and you had your moment. You had your moment. But then you shifted it. And then all of a sudden it gave it enough time for your mom to go, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, no, I'm not dying. Okay, it was just, I had a little bit of gas. So, I just had a little, I don't know how I do. I don't know. Something was going on. But anyway, my cousin's coming and so I'm good and you can go. Wow, go have your day. I mean, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful because sometimes that's all it takes is just that moment of pono pause to allow the energy to shift. And it didn't necessarily shift. It wasn't all about shifting it for her. It was shifting it for you. Because when you shift it for you, then everyone around you kind of shifts, because you're not in that, oh, I'm here, I'm sacrificing my day and my life because this is what I'm supposed to do, that self-sacrifice, and mom calls me and sacrifice yourself, and I've behaved that way. She pushed my button and here I came. You kind of like took a moment and then she goes, yeah, I really don't need you. Go ahead, go on. And you're like, okay, well, good. So it worked out. And the left side of Pono, sometimes you got to go there. Apparently you understand left side of Pono. Sometimes you got to go there a little bit, but you're still in the Pono lane. You're still in the Pono, the lane that you're driving. I'm still in the, I'm just really left. I'm in the left side of the lane, but I'm still in the lane. It's okay. Let yourself go there. Let yourself have that because you're still in the Pono lane. It's okay. Give yourself that loving journey. Give yourself that loving journey. Aloha hua kahi, that loving journey. Give yourself that. And take that Pono pause. That's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. That was very powerful. Very powerful. I'm gonna remember that. Thank you very much. We're so grateful for you being here, and you're hopefully you feel good tomorrow when you wake up. But I know it's difficult, and you don't have to be here every week, but whenever you want to show your little glowy, shiny face, we'll always be here, and it'll always be good to see you.
Thank you. I'll keep following the classes on the recordings, and if anyone needs to contact me, I can leave you my contact, and feel free.
Yeah,
I'm here for you as well.
Put it in on the chat so people can know how your email and stuff, so that they can keep in contact with you, because it doesn't matter where you are on the globe. We can all just stay connected with each other, and it's so important to have that loving connection. It's so important to have the support of people that understand you, that are a vibrational match, and paddling in the ba'a with you, because if there's just a little thing that you need to hey, I'm going through this. What are your thoughts on that? What's your advice? Is that left of Pono? Have I gone past the left of Pono on that one? But we're all in the canoe together, so it's good for you to be able to reach out. And yes, absolutely, connect in, and we'll stay connected with you. But again, even if you're not here and we don't get to see your beautiful, sparkly light that you are, we feel you. We feel you in the canoe, and you'll always be with us. It's okay. So,
thank you.
Mahalo. Aloha. Boy, okay, let's go. I want to go to Erica.
Hello, everyone. Hello again. I'm so I'm just crying. I'm sorry. I think I'm just so grateful to be here with you. And just my heart is overwhelmed with gratitude. It's just such a blessing to have found you all. I just think also to last week when I was here, and the words that Chrissy said stayed with me when she said, I recognize you, and you're Ohana. And after the class, I thought, yes, I really felt that way too. I've since Kumu, since you mentioned about recognize the aloha, I just I don't know, I guess the tears started flowing and they're still flowing. I didn't expect it, but yeah, I'm just very grateful. And I had a little bit of deja vu while you were speaking, Kumu, and I think Natasha said something about deja vu too when we started the class. And it's funny because when I had that deja vu, I just saw it in my head. I saw exactly the way my screen looks, and I saw all of you, and it just felt so right. It just felt like everything was in perfection, and I was in the right, just in the right place that I need to be. And I wanted to share one other thing with you today because I don't know why, but Albert Einstein keeps coming to my consciousness. And I had seen this on the plane right here. I saw this TV series, like a historical TV series called Genius. I don't know if anyone knows it, about Albert Einstein. And you know, he's the one who was really looking at E equals mc squared and the speed of light. And just recently, this thought came to my head when I was waking up in the morning. And the thought is, what if the speed of light is the speed of love? And I just thought, wow, that's that's pretty cool. Because I mean, like when you look at E equals mc squared, there's also that mass and there's that energy and the information that we've received. And I just thought that was very interesting. I've been thinking about it, just reflecting upon that. So just wanted to share that with you. So again, thank you. I'm just so grateful to have found you all. And I'm going to try and live. I live in the Netherlands, and even though it's normally really late for me, I'm going to try to see if I can still make it, even if it will still be one, like with Natasha. But yeah, I'm setting an intention. Yeah, it feels right. So thank you.
Wow. Mahalo, my dear. Mahalo, my dear. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing and for just allowing yourself to have that and to share it with us. You know, the light. There's many different Hawaiian words for light in different ways. One is alo. Alo is light. but it's about enlightenment. It's, you know, the alo is enlightenment. It's so deep, you know, light, you know, is a sacred geometry. It's a language, the language of light, you know. And what I love about Einstein, and what I loved, you know, there's so many that worked with the intelligence of light. Gandhi was one of my favorites. You know, he worked with light. He just didn't speak it in that way. But, you know, Einstein, you know, it was all about math, and math is sacred geometry. And I love sacred geometry. And so I understand his language. But when he would talk about light and stuff like that, you know, I know from the Hawaiian perspective of that being, you know, alo. Yeah, it's you know, it's enlightenment. It's enlightenment, and it has such powerful information in it. And so even though it's, you know, like something is lit up or something is light, it is, it's got, you know, so many embedded and encoded teachings and information in it. And I feel like Ken is going to share some of his wisdom on this too. But that goes with my name, La'akea, the sacred light. It's a little bit different than alo. It's a little bit different than alo. It's just a little bit different, but it's a lot the same. But La'akea, that's why when, you know, Kumu gave me the name La'akea, and my full name is La'akea Pu'uwai. So sacred light of the heart space. But they also said, oh, La'akea, we love you. And we know that for you, it could be Pu'uwai La'akea or La'akea Pu'uwai. And I'm like, oh, good. We get to switch it back and forth, really. So sacred light of the heart space or heart space of the sacred light. Well, let me tell you what. The sacred light is like, wow, it's really bright. And there's a lot of, you know, layers of information. And, you know, unless you're ready for that, you know, it's an interesting place to be in that light. But I love Einstein. I love things, you know, when I'm like on Facebook and anything Einstein, he comes on, I'm like, oh yes, what did he say? What was it? You know, because he was such a beautiful mathematician, and his brain, it wasn't always scientific. It wasn't always like in the box. He had to expand out into the realms to really understand the meaning of all of these things. That's why he was such a genius. He was such a genius. So I get it, Tita. I get it. I really appreciate him. And I'm gonna have to look into that movie. I want to watch that. That sounds really interesting. And get a bowl of popcorn and just sit there and eat popcorn and watch the movie. So grateful for you also. I'm so happy that you get to spend time with your ohana, your family, and that you're in Texas, you know, US of A, and you're in our time zone. But, you know, if you can make the other classes, that's great. If you can't, again, also just always know, we know you're here. You guys have kind of imprinted on us now, you know, you've been in these 2 classes, you know, can get rid of us, you know, we've got you now. And I don't know if you ever come to Hawaii and you come to me, I will give you a hug because I'm a hugger. I hug and then I don't let you go, and I hug. Nina knows this. I hug and I don't let you go, and I just hug it. And then, you know, I'm imprinted on you and you are imprinted on me, and you can't get away. You can't get away. You know, because you're one of the special ones and they've called you here and we're a vibrational match. And so just feel that loving hug from Kumu La'akea. And whether you both are able to make it, you know, because of the time difference or not, just always feel hugged, you know, at that time in the moment of your sleeping that we're on class. And you'll just feel a big old hug from Kumu La'akea and you're like, oh, La'akea, okay, I love you. Okay, let me go. I'm sleeping now. Don't bother me. And that's okay. That's okay. Because sometimes I like to force affection. I don't know. It's that pu'uvai. It's the heart thing. It's the sacred light of the heart of the sacred light thing. I just kind of like am very affectionate. So anyway, my dear, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we have a few people to get to. Ken?
Hi, aloha. Thank you. Happy New Year. We could use the mahalo pau to end the day in your mind, or if you're leaving a building, think it in your mind, and just to cut your ties with that experience. Or after a meeting, you can mentally do it just to cut your ties with that meeting, the things in that meeting. You can use it to end your day, to close out all the stuff you picked up in that day so that you're clear before you sleep. We tend to be creatures of habit, so we may not live in the moment. And you can remind yourself to live in the moment, maybe with a sticky notes, or give yourself a reminder, or give yourself a time where you're just going to practice to be in the moment. Maybe it's a certain time during your schedule, or when you wake up, you're going to practice being in the moment for a minute. But if you can practice being in the moment when you just wake up, it's going to affect your entire day. Whatever you do when you first wake up is so powerful that it will carry through your whole day. It's the first thought, the first smell, the first feeling, the first thing you see, the first thing you do, the first thing you taste. Really powerful. If you taste sweet, your pancreas is going to leak insulin all day long if that's your first taste. So never make it your first taste. Always make it another taste. not sweet. Have sweet later. Light only has meaning because we know what's opposite. And to an animal who's very close to nature, because they're not so intellectual, they'll experience night, they'll experience day for as it is. But when we experience these things, we put a lot of thinking into it, a lot of different kinds of meanings and attachments and figuring out things to do with it. So maybe as a practice, you can think, how would the creature from nature respond to the moon or the water or the light or the day, and just experience it that way without the intellectual grasping of it, without the judgments, without the intellectual hooks, just to experience it as it is. Because when you're sleeping at night, you don't want to sleep with the lights on, with spotlights aimed at you. You're going to think, like, wait, I can't sleep too good. It's like burning me, but it has its time and its place. So balance is so important, right? We have too much of one, we can get sunburned. If we don't have enough of the other one, we can feel like cold. I wish you all happy 2022. And it's very nice to get to spend some time together. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. Mahalo, brother. Mahalo. Really appreciate, again, you being the, again, I'm going to ask you to share your name with us and explain what it is, because truly in this va'a, and for those of the folks that are in the va'a that weren't with us earlier when we were kind of sharing this. Can you please share your Hawaiian name that you were given and what it means? And I know there's like 3 different meanings, but
Yeah.
there's one in particular that really, just really speaks exactly who you are. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Hoaka, Hoaka. So it has 3 meanings. So 3 meanings that I was taught. One is a bright star in heaven that blinks. The second meaning is the keystone in an archway. So an archway has a stone that's in the very center and that holds everything together. So that keystone, that's the meaning, the center stone that holds the arch in place. And the last meaning is the highest point on a mountaintop. Those are the 3 meanings.
Yeah. Well, you know, for me, brother, you just, it's so that stone in the center of the archway in this va'a, you're truly there, and you hold this, and you hold it for me, myself, and you hold it for this va'a, and I just so appreciate you for that. And ho'aka, you know, is a perfect name for you. That is your name. That is your name. And you truly are that. And I love that you have different aspects of yourself, because you are all of those. You are all of those in one. And you know, the star, the blinking light, now talking about light, you know, the blinking star. And then the point on the mountaintop. Yes, absolutely. But also the stone that holds the whole archway together. And that's why we're so grateful that Hoaka is in our canoe paddling with us. And he's been here from day one, even before we started the classes. He was in contact with my kumu, Mehialani. And, you know, he was like, oh, I'm so excited for these classes to start. He joined up before we even had it going. He's been in the va'a from even before the beginning. So I'm so grateful for you, brother. And my kumu loved you dearly. And still does. He loves you dearly. And really appreciates, you know, who you are in this va'a. But you're a good one, brother. You're a good one. I'm gonna get a little teary. Okay, we're done. Mahalo pau.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mahalo pau.
Yeah, brother. I really appreciate you. You the best you ever. So I'm gonna go to Alo Halia.
Aloha.
Aloha. Talk about light now. Alo light. Halia,
Right.
the memory. Oh, Halia Okalani, correct?
Yes. Aloha Lia Hokulani. So loving wisdom from the ancestors in heaven. But aloha Lia also to be in presence with the breath of life. Hoku, star cradle, Lani in the heavens. So it's not fixed. It's not a fixed vibration. It moves and changes and has many layers and flows.
That they give us the opportunity to kind of like shift. It's not like this is it and that is it. We get to like have, you know, la'akea
Yeah.
pu'uwai or pu'uwai la'akea. And I'm like, today I choose. You know, I'm just, you know, I'm gonna bright light, you know, so they give us a little bit of flexibility with that. Some of us, you know, everything's perfect, everyone's perfect with their names, but I love that yours is a little bit more flexible. Yeah, it's got a little hula to it.
Absolutely. It's definitely just coming to my awareness at the moment around how that my name, the vibration, actually is a portal in its own way. And Ekalamai, I was only came into class about 50 minutes or so in, but the one concurrent thing that I have heard, which may be what I've interpreted as the message, is in the Mahalo Pau. And Mahalo Pau has been my my go-to for this past week, and I can't actually say that it has been working for me. But I, these past few weeks, have definitely been feeling a real okole squeeze. And it hasn't been until just this moment in this class where I think I kind of get the download of what the fuck has been going on for me. Because there's been a lot of Pilikia and a lot of stuff that's been, you know, resurfacing in my mana'o that yeah, it's has created a bit of a resistance in the ways I've been stepping out back into the world. For anyone that I haven't met yet, Natasha, Erica, I'm also in Melbourne in Australia, you know, the most locked down city in the world. And you know, we are transitioning back out into, you know, this new form of society, which I'm not essentially a part of, but with Christmas and Ohana and lots of different things, there's been more integration in the 3D world in this past few weeks than there actually has been in the past few years. And so what I've realized is, up until I came into class today, I really was in a real fucking state of Pilikia, man. Like I just threw my towel and, you know, dropped to my knees and wailed and wailed and wailed and thought, I just cannot get back up today. I can't do this. But I created a shift for some things to move to give me a little bit of breathing time today. And what I've realized is that this past couple of years, there's been such a huge transition in which dimension I'm actually operating in, that actually stepping back out into the third dimension has caused me, you know, some mental and emotional and physical torment in some degree. I'm really, it's no longer the frequency that I am in. And so my humanness, my mana'o, my body is having, you know, a nervous reaction to that. And up until, you know, a few moments ago, I thought that it was me. that it was me, and that I've had some, you know, some type of relapse, and, you know, where to from here. But it's actually that I'm just struggling to operate in the 3D realm. So I'm working with that at the moment. And yeah, like I said, Mahalo Pau, you know, I probably said it about 5 times before I came to class today. I was like, Mahalo fucking Pau, Mahalo Pau. I'm screaming, Mahalo Pau, I'm done.
That's why Kumu had me draw that card. It's all your fault. Because you were sending it out into the universe. And I'm shuffling through the cards. Everybody saw me shuffle. I was shuffling. And then this one, and it kind of like leaped out at the last minute. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the one. Mahalo Pau. It's you. You were the one.
Anikali, go. So I'm just, everything's kind of just, just popping back into, the download is integrating right now. And it's not about, I've just got the message so clearly. It's not about stepping back out into the 3D world and blending back in. I'm now, being guided to select new experiences that continue to resonate within the frequency that I'm the dimension that I'm actually operating in now, because there's no going back to the old world, but I'm feeling it in frequency everywhere, even just being around people. It's just like, okay, no, not today. I'm going to go up into the bush and I'll sit up on the ledge up there and I'll overlook the bay and I'll send everybody love, but, nobody in my physical experience today. Mahalo. The only place that I actually have been able to, and then some, be completely okay in the 3D is when I'm in the space, is when I'm in my aloha space, because, the frequency there is a vibrational match, right? So yeah, it's just saying mahalo pau. It's not internalizing it and turning it into a pilikia thing that's individual to me, and just honoring that I'm upgrading. I'm doing the latest update on the iOS. And that requires a little more mindful gentleness. I don't just have to go back out into the 3D world. I can stay right here and expand and create and increase my capacity to receive from here, not go back down there and go back to default. So mahalo pau. I love you all. Aloha lea hokulani. Peace out.
I get you, sister. I feel you. And what I feel, beautifully coming through is your Maori. You're like, it's kind of like you just want to get into the haka. You're like, ah, ah, and it's like, who do I kill? I'm gonna kill somebody right now. You want to haka? I know this because I wouldn't get them. So, who needs to die today?
Right.
Many, maybe several people. I get it. I see your Maori kind of coming out in you, and then Kumu Mehealani and Nakupuna and Kumu La'akea comes in, and we're like, just spandex the aloha, and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, aloha shmoha. I don't have that today. And we all have those days. Even Kumulaka has it, and trust me, I go out on the front porch and I get into my haka like, ooh, and if I had my little,
Yeah, it's just honoring that contrast, that there are, there are interchangeable dimensions of our mana as well. And sometimes it's, it's light and calm and nurturing and loving. And other times it is fierce and don't fuck with me. And so that contrast is perfect in each and every way. And it's not allowing yourself to confuse that if you're in if you've got that, any of that anger or anything like that, that's, pilikia, like it's, we're interchangeable, and we are in like a quickening, the fast moving canoe, there is no slowing this ship down, and you just got to breathe and go with it and just allow each new download and upgrade as it comes. It's not always going to be pleasant, right?
well,
But we have mahalo pau.
yeah, we have mahalo pau. We have it, and it's such a powerful tool. And this is a fast moving ba'a, we don't have a lot of lag time, the self beat up time. We don't have it, and for a lot of people, they're like, well, I need a little bit of integration time. I need to assimilate this. I need to download this. I need to work with that. I need to, and in this spot, I was like, okay, well, good. Well, you stay back on the beach because this spot is going, and we'll loop around. Maybe we'll pick you up when you're ready. So anyway, kind of like no, we don't have time. There is no time for integrating or assimilating or let me, sit here and meditate about this for a while. No, there's not. You get it and get it now. Keep paddling, get in or get out, kind of thing. And that is this va'a a lot of times. Mahalo Pau is such a beautiful tool because it kind of like, there's things that kind of loop around with us. Maybe their thought patterns or their life patterns or their emotional patterns or whatever. And Mahalo Pau kind of like severs that. It stops it. It interrupts it so that you can actually get into focus, like Natasha, with her mom. She was like, oh, every single time I just want to do something for myself. Mom comes in with all of her pilikia and then I have to go save her. And I've always saved her and I've done it. And so she's been looping around. And in that one moment, she just kind of like shifted it and she severed the pattern. She did the Mahalo Pau realistically. And now she knows the verbiage for it. Mahalo Pau. And then you stop the pattern. And then and then mom, is going, oh, wait a minute. She's not reacting in the way that she used to. Am I dying? I'm not actually really dying. I'm actually okay. I probably don't have to go to the hospital. Maybe my cousin can come and take me out to lunch. I don't know, and then Tita can go off and go have her day, and all she needed to do was just kind of like sever, just kind of like interrupt or put some kind of like something to get out of that loop. Mahalo Pau, it's very powerful. It's very powerful. So, when we're in this thing and this fast moving canoe, they don't have time for us to loop around and around and around and around. They're like, we don't have time, and that was me with my kumu. I had 10 precious years. Now, of course, I did it 24/7 with my kumu, and I didn't understand. I was like, oh, how long will this last? Some days it was kind of like, because, relationships, we were like roommates. we cohabitated, and she would drive me crazy and I'd drive her crazy. And she's like, I'm done with you, Mahalo Pau. And I'm like, yeah, well, Mahalo Pau you. But then we were like, oh, I love you. I'm just kidding. You're awesome. You're actually the only one that understands me. I love you. So anyway, we would go through this, but, it was like, there's a short amount of time for us to really kind of navigate these waters that we're in. We don't have a lot of time to just stay in the pilikia and the looping and the old stuff and the patterns. It's time to like interrupt those patterns with Mahalo Pau, interrupt the pattern with Mahalo Pau, which stops the loop. Mahalo Pau stops the loop. And then we go into the lessons and blessings of the moment. Let's get this, let's move forward and imua. And then you imua forward instead of staying there and beating yourself up and looping around in that for a while. So no more loops, people. Hopefully this year, Mahalo is gonna be about Mahalo Pau that. And not only for you, but let me tell you what, kumulakea. Because I am the navigator, I'm the steersman of this va'a. And any patterns that I have, and any patterns that are going on here, are going to show up in the va'a. So when I see you folks, and when these issues get brought up, it's because that's where I am. So it's like, all right, well, if my va'a is in Pono, then I know I'm in Pono. If my va'a, if my canoe is left side of Pono, I'm like, okay, I'm a little left of Pono. What's going on with La'akea? So, how do I course correct me? Because I am the steersman of this. So it's just a direct reflection of me. So I love all of your input. I love this stuff because for me, this shows me as the steersman, as the navigator of this va'a, and as the alakai to Nakupuna, to my kumu mehealani, and the ancestors, angels, guardians, and guides. How do I get to go forward better in this? And for the greater good of myself and this va'a. And of course, I always put myself first because Uhane Nui is number one. So don't ever feel bad, Natasha, don't ever feel bad about putting yourself first. Uhane Nui is so important. Have that in place first, and then you can do for others. If you are in place, then you can do for others. So this always helps me so much to kind of like course correct myself. So Tita, Maori, Dakain, thank you, mahalo. Oh, you should see me out sometimes at night, because, like different things are happening. I go out and I do a haka and it's like, I don't even know how to do the haka, but it just kind of comes in. I kind of like channel it in like from my past lives. Oh, I'm sure my neighbors are like going, what's going on over there? I think the crazy lady next door is, I don't know, she's screaming thing. I'm not screaming, but it's like, Ooh, watch out for that Maori fire. Woo! I love you. I love you and I love your fire. And I know you're good, you're just fine. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And in this va'a, with the love and support and nakupuna and everything in place, we're getting through this. I know you've been in a really tight squeeze and you've gotten through it, and we're going to continue to get through it, and we'll get through it together. Stay close. Stay close. We're here. Okay, my dear, we're going to move to, I want to hear from the other Australia, Doralis. Where did she go? There she is. Okay, unmute. Where are you?
You guys are the best. I listen. I sometimes can do two things at once, sometimes three, most often one thing at one time. However, I am listening and we just imua. We imua. So you're in the lift with me at the moment. And that's how life works at the moment. We've got all sorts of ways to connect. I was on the ocean. I couldn't believe it. A friend of mine called. I had my phone off yesterday. I was literally in the middle of the ocean with these amazing jellyfish and the sunset, and it was just incredible. And someone called me, and I answered the phone, and I was like, hey, aloha. You're in the middle of the ocean with me. Like, who would have thought that technology would allow you to do these things, I'm with you all, and I didn't want to not be with you. That's why I'm moving at the same time and listening at the same time, to be honest. And this is perfect. Like everybody sharing the most perfect messages today. You know, our own spirits, Nakupuna, Anake, and everyone. So yeah, it is perfect. It's perfect. And the Mahalo Pow is like perfect, because yesterday I constantly was saying that, you know, it was just kind of a little humorous in the ocean. I was like, oh my God, Mahalo Pow kept coming up, you know, and I did the Mahalo Nui chant, and was, you know, and we're all going through sometimes, you know, through little roller coaster rides. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that I you know, again, we're resonating with the similar experiences and similar messages, and I'm very inspired by all of you. I'm very grateful. There was one thing that did come to me, was happy this morning, was happy new year, happy new, oh, hang on, happy new year, happy new day, happy new moment to moment. So yeah, happy old, was happy old, happy old day, happy new day, happy new moment to moment, everyone and everything. And yeah, mahalo nui for all of it.
Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, we caught Chrissy on the move. She's a little fidgety. She doesn't stay in one place very often. She kind of moves around a lot. So you never know where you're going to find her. But she's always in. She's always in. I really appreciate you being here too. I know this is, you know, the holiday season, your family and everything that you're going through and all this stuff. And so thank you for being here with us and sharing and being a part of this va'a. We all love and appreciate you. All right. Now we're going to move to Nina. Nina, my dear, dear, dear friend Nina.
Well, the Mahalo Pow was very meaningful for me because I am surrounded by situations that where folks are, you know, saying enough 2021, enough. And certainly, you know, my friends in healthcare who work in the hospitals, you know, they're really in rough shape. You know, Massachusetts right now has canceled all elective surgeries again because the hospitals are full. You know, Texas is out of the immunoglobulin treatment, or whatever the name of that is, and universities are really finding this very difficult. The university where I work is planning emergency measures. If, like, what if 800 students are quarantined simultaneously? How are we going to get them lunch? And it's really, people's are on their last nerve. And one of the things that the Mahalo Pow reminds us is what is it about the situation that we are thankful for. And I was talking about this afternoon with a friend, and we were saying that the wave that the world is going through is helping us all to see the reality of our interconnectedness, and that what we do together, how we choose to live together, how we show up, how we protect public health, that affects us all, and that we are connected, and the reality of the connectedness is more clear and more manifest. And for that, you know, I truly am grateful, and I am wishing us all a 2022 where we act on the knowledge, and act as, you know, as if really walk the walk of truly being connected and co-creating the world of our desired experiences. So that's my check-in.
Yay, I agree. I agree. This year, well, I guess, like tomorrow's gonna be like every other day. But energetically, this time gives us the opportunity to shift perhaps the patterns we were in last year. We mahalo pow it. We oki the aka cord. We oki that pattern. We cut it. And we interrupt it. We interrupt that loop. And we go into the new year with what we understand from what we've gained this year of being in this va'a. Because this va'a has gone through a wild ride. This va'a has gone through a wild ride this year. We had Anake in the body bag here for part of this year. And then she wasn't in the body bag. Right? So we've all gone, that kind of, woo, 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 where's the va'a, where's the canoe? Does La'akea have it? We're not really sure. And La'akea didn't even know if she had it.
Cat was walking away. Sorry, Bear was walking away with a hair elastic in his mouth.
Oh yeah, no.
I had to make a hard stop of that pattern and divest him of the notion that
do not
eating hair elastics is okay.
Elastics, because that's going to come out some orifice that you don't want to know where that's going to come out.
No, I do not want him eating hair elastics.
Yeah, right.
Do you hear that, Bear? This is for you. A message for you, Nakapuna. Don't.
So anyway, yeah, it's just kind of been a huge adjustment for all of us as we've navigated in the waters of life and Kumu fortunately was able to set in place with me because she was such a beautiful master. In such a short time, she was able to instill within me the ability to be able to take this va'a forward. Because left to my own devices, I wouldn't be able to do it. Seriously, I'm not able to do it. With her guidance and her mastery and her teachings and everything that she dedicated the last 10 years of her life to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to go forward with this and and then she loves all of us so much. They love all of us so much and they're so in and so supportive, and all they ever do is hold us masterfully in our highest light, in our highest greatness, in the next right step, and then the best things coming for us here, now, and forward, and all of it. And she was able to instill in me in such a short amount of time a way to navigate that forward. And so I'm so grateful for her, and she's still in, and Nakapuna are still in. And, fortunately, she taught me how to connect into that. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. So, the more out into the deeper ocean that we go, Genge, La'akea gets better and better and better at being a steersman, at being a navigator. I learn from mahalo nui. I learn from the involvement to evolve. And then I evolve and I see, what are the lessons and blessings in this? and how am I going to become a better navigator because of this evolvement, so that I can be in better service of myself and in better service of this Va'a and anyone else that I come in contact with. And, in order to sometimes move forward or create the capacity to receive all those things, the greatness that they want to bring in, we have to release, we have to oki, we have to cut off, mahalo pau, the old patterns, so that that kind of moves out of the way, and then they can fill us up with the new. The new. And that's where we are in this new year, I believe. This is this energy and this time, and I'm sure there's galactic alignments around this. And if we had an astrologer here, that'd tell us why we're feeling this. But that's why this is this time of year that we celebrate this, and we have New Year's Day. We have New Year's Day because the energy of this time is about that time where we move into new, because we've interrupted the old patterns and now we're moving into the new patterns. And so it's about being really consciously aware of that and choosing how we're going to be in the nowness from now to now to now to now to now. Forward,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So mahalo Nina for being here and being in this va'a. You're a very stable paddler. You're such a beautiful friend, and I'm grateful for you beyond words. Beyond words.
Kumu, can I share just a little something quickly?
Sure.
I do have to say mahalo so much to you and to everybody. I was even struggling still this morning, reflecting this in this last year. I mean, the holidays were hard. This fire has just, I've been doing better. I've been learning a lot of things have been coming up, but I was still struggling a lot with these old limiting beliefs that were still wanting to hang on. And this is what I've been reflecting on a lot, especially in this last week. And I got up this morning and just going, I was feeling lost. Even with all the good stuff happening, I was still feeling lost. And I got up and I was told to listen to one of the recordings I have of Anna Kay, and I did. And it was so comforting to hear her voice and her laugh. And then I was told, and I thought, God, I've got to get back. I've got to get back in the va'a, and it's time to change this and to move forward. And I know with this new year and everything. And then I was told I need to be out in the class tonight. And this has been absolutely perfect. This is exactly what I needed. Everything we were sharing and we're all talking about is being here to help us, each other, and everything you are now bringing in. I feel like it's getting me now really more solid in place for me to start really moving forward. And I don't feel even that same little lostness I was feeling this morning. I'm just feeling still kind of overwhelmed with it all, and it's all good, but I was still overwhelmed with it all. So I just wanted to say mahalo. I mean, this has been so helpful tonight. Does the next, I don't know if I'm saying this very well. You know me, I'm always fumbling with my mea. But yeah, you're giving me what I needed to really help me to get solid in my place to be able to move forward. So mahalo. I cannot thank you enough for tonight and for all you're doing.
Mahalo, Kaleo, mahalo. I really appreciate that. I appreciate your appreciation, and like Alana was saying earlier, and I love when Alana speaks, because she speaks in that native tongue. She speaks in Like Hawaiians, they slow it down. And they speak very slowly, and they are very consciously aware of what they speak. And that's one of the things I love about Alana. So, you know, when I have her share, I really like to hear it. That's just one thing that I've noticed with you, girl. But yeah, you know, when she spoke of having a deja vu, and Alana, I think she spoke about it earlier, and then Erica spoke about deja vu. And so, you know, I just, you know, in everybody sharing, I kind of had a moment of deja vu, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird, man. We've done this before, you know, like time warp, and then all of a sudden you catch up to yourself. And so this is so perfect, and I really appreciate everybody sharing, and how you've shared that this message is so perfect for you, and it's so perfect for the world right now. It's so perfect for everyone right now. And the thing is as we go forward in our daily life, we take this forward with us. It just is going to radiate off of you, whether you even think about it again or not. It is you, and you are it. It's a part of us. And this is how Nakupuna work, is they put it in, and it just becomes a part of you. And so it doesn't matter if you speak it to somebody else, they can feel it, they can sense it, they can see it, and it might come up in conversation, and you can conversate about it. But, you know, you might not be able to articulate fully or totally, you know, what that's all about, but it's so perfect. It's so perfect. And it's kind of like deja vu, man. It's kind of like, we were meant to be here, and it was supposed to, you know, we were supposed to come together as a crew, as paddlers, and we were supposed to be in this va'a together. And going back and watching Anike's videos, yeah, that's, you know, woo, very, very powerful, because she was a master. And yeah, just, you know, hearing her voice and hearing her laughter. And everything was, she laughed about everything. Everything was funny. You know, Nina knows this. She spent a lot of time with us over the years, and all we would do is laugh. Sing, play ukulele, and laugh, you know. And Kumu's laughter was, you know, very precious. And so, you know, laughing about life is very important. Always find the time to find humor in life. Look at something that's funny and just laugh about it. You know, that helps, you know, to
Right.
stop the pattern of what we're going through too. So
The
anyway,
other thing too, though, Kuma, the point I wanted to make though is this was a rough year in a lot of ways, and we've gotten through it. And to see where we are tonight with what everybody is sharing, what you're sharing, the new people that are coming in, I feel like, I guess that's what I was trying to say, is to feel that there is a solidity. We've come through a lot of rough waters this year, each in our own way together. And it's wonderful to see how here we are now, ready to be there and to move forward together into this new year. That's what I was trying to say in my way.
well said, well said. Yes, we are still in the va'a. We, you know, La'akea, navigated La'akea, got us through. Everybody paddled along, and we got in, and we're maybe gonna, you know, come and dock at the beach. You know, Kumu always talked about they reach the beach when they reach the beach. So we've reached the beach. We're now at a precipice of a new year. The canoe will turn around, and we will launch off again. And it's a fast moving canoe, but sometimes you just have to, you know, sometimes you just have to come to a point where the va'a comes in, and it reaches the beach, and then you shift it around, and then you kind of like gear up, and you get some, you know, supplies and all this stuff, you know, you get the tools, you get the supplies, and you put them in, and then you get in the va'a and you go again. And those that are ready to get in the va'a and go again, then we go again. And if you're not, it's okay. There's aloha, that's aloha. We'll loop around, we'll come back around, we'll loop around, and we will come back to the beach. And if you're ready then get in then. That's how you live pono moment to moment. So that's how this va'a works. Mahalo, Kaleo. Mahalo. So, okay, we've been here for a while, gang. I'm gonna let everybody go. We're all getting a little bit tired. We're moving into this yummy moment. And then gonna go into the next moment. I'm so grateful for everyone. Thank you all for being here. And thank you for your input and your wisdom, and for being here and paddling with me and with us. Because now, you know, you can't just have a steersman. You know, I could sit here and steer the canoe and I'd just go around in circles. But I have to have paddlers in order to move forward. And then you can't have just one paddler. You know, you got to have like several paddlers so that you can get the va'a, you can get the nose into the swells, and you can rise up over the swells, and you can go down the other side, or you can ride the swells. You know, you stay on the top of the wave and you just ride it. But if you're sideways, gonna huli, you get it, not gonna be good, not a desired experience. So, you know, it takes every seat in the canoe is very important. So everyone that takes their seat in the canoe is critical. It's so important. And we're all in different places in our lives going through different things, and that's okay. Because together, and this is the beauty of this time, is I've gone through my stuff this year. You've gone through your stuff this year. I haven't been in Australia. Australia has had their stuff this year. Switzerland has had their stuff this year. Ken has had his, he's taking care of his mom. Nina has gone through her stuff, Alana, Kaleo, everybody, all of us. We've been going through our individual stuff all year long, but together. Because we've been together long enough that we understand each other. And what I love about Natasha is she has gone back and watched all the episodes. I'm really like admiring her right now because, I'm like, oh, that was a lot. I think I've rewatched every episode one time, but she, like, in a short amount of time, went back and watched all the episodes up to a point, and then I told her, okay, go from the front to the back, and now she's working her way from the front to the back, and she's doing it. And I'm like, going, she's caught up. She caught herself up, like, talk about, fast moving va'a. Seriously, I really have a lot. She's a strong paddler. You want her in your va'a. You don't want her in the other va'a because they're gonna win. You want her to be one of your engines because she's very strong. She's very powerful. She's very tenacious, this one. So we like her. But she's up to par. She's up to speed. And she does it, and she does it over and over and over. She shows up. So, this is great. This is good. This is, we are paddling together, and I love this canoe. So I'm grateful. I'm going to let you folks go. That was an awesome class. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy new yumminess. Happy new yumminess. Okay, Gengi.
Happy New Year. Aloha.
Off we go.